My name is Rachel. This is my husband Josh and my son Eli. I was 32 years old when I had a heart attack. Josh and I got married in 2011, and about within a year after that, we ended up having 4 miscarriages. Through genetic testing, they ended up telling us that one of us was a carrier of a trisomy 13 chromosome, which is a non-survivable chromosome deficiency. And so they said, basically, any time that we get pregnant, it's either a flip of a coin. It's either going to be a healthy baby or another miscarriage. We had just gotten done having Sunday dinner with my parents, and we were on our way back home, and I told Josh, I said, it's kind of weird, but I feel like I have heartburn.
She had mentioned that her chest was bothering her a little bit, so on the drive home she talked about it a little bit more. I thought, we'll go home, take a few Tums.
Popped a couple Tums. And at that point in time, I didn't really think anything of it.
Through the whole week she continued to say, hey, my chest still bothers me. I'm like, well, you take some Tums. And being the real supportive husband I am,
it didn't ever go away. And so I kind of just chalked it up to being a pansy and not being able to deal with heartburn.
Finally, one night she woke up and she woke me up, and it was probably 2 o'clock in the morning or so. And she's like, my chest is just really hurting.
And there were times that it felt like I had an elephant standing on my chest. There was even a point of time where it felt like there was a little bit of numbness in the inside of my bicep. It didn't hurt, but it was kind of like it was asleep. I had, tried relaxing, taking a bath, tried eating, drinking, more Tums, and it just was getting worse. And so I woke him up.
She's like, do you think I should go to the ER? And I'm like...
We sat in bed trying to decide what to do. We have high deductible insurance, so going to the emergency room is not a cheap trip, even if it's just for heartburn.
And so we go there, and I'm thinking the whole ride there that I'm going to go spend $75 per tab of Tums. And I'm like, this is going to be great.
We go to St. Elizabeth's.
The key word when you get to the ER is just say chest hurts or chest pains, and you don't have to do anything else. You just get to go right through the line, skip everybody else. And
scared me a little because I wasn't quite sure what to expect, but they ran a gamut of tests in the ER. Couldn't really find anything other than my heart enzymes were elevated and my blood pressure was elevated.
And finally, about 8 o'clock in the morning, a cardiologist comes in, and he's like, we're going to do a heart cath.
We don't expect to find anything, but just to rule it out. My arteries were abnormally small for an adult.
Basically, she has abnormally small arteries.
Once they got in, they found 2 small blockages.
Like a 50% blockage on a normal person is about 100% blockage on her. So
they went ahead and they did an angioplasty.
That was kind of eye-opening and just something you never think about.
When they first told me what had happened and that I had had a heart attack, I was in shock. At 32 years old, that wasn't what I was expecting to hear them say at all. So after being told all this, Dr. Bajwa said, you're gonna have to do a lifestyle change, and that includes diet, exercise, and meds. And at one point in time, I think Dr. Bajwa even had suggested maybe Josh and I consider becoming vegetarians. And
I'm just like, no, that's not good. We're steak and potato people. So after he walked out, I looked at her and said, I think that's grounds for annulment.
He considered annulment at that point of time.
The 4 miscarriages were tough, and then she has this heart attack. Those miscarriages are kind of a blessing in disguise, because if you go into labor with what you had, there's a good chance you don't come out. And so you go, wow.
That really sunk home to me, and it was one of those that it was like, okay, God, I get it. I understand. I get it. Yay! Good job.
Good job. He was well worth the wait, and so the good news coming out of the whole thing is after she went through that, we have Eli, we have a healthy baby.
He was by far the biggest miracle so far in Josh and I's life.
Yeah, you just can't say enough great things about Eli, because he's just the funnest thing on the planet. So
orneriness of his dad is who he takes after for sure.
Hey.
The one thing I do remember is the packet of materials that I had originally been given at St. Elizabeth. I remember seeing the American Heart Association logo on the back of everyone.
You just can't get the word out enough, at least in my opinion. Like I said, you'd have never guessed a 32-year-old woman that has been physically active her whole life is going to have this problem. And so if that can happen to her, it truly can happen to anybody. And so it's one of those things where I kind of hit home, and it's like, okay, maybe we do need to do more to kind of get her story out, to get the word out.
Having a heart attack was definitely not part of my plan, but it's brought us closer together as a couple, where it easily could have torn us apart. So I'm thankful that we were able to share this together, despite that it was definitely a hard time, tough time to get through. But we have a pretty awesome family now because of it.